Hey you guys, I am walking to yoga on the Hudson and I thought I'd bring you guys with me and tell you a little story about my meeting date on Friday. So this was my third date off of the dating app. I was gonna give up after my 2 dates that weren't so great. But I thought maybe number 3 is a charm. So I tried it out and I'm going to tell you all about it. So welcome to my colorful life after a great divorce. My name's Regan, also known as the Easy Ex-Wife. And on this channel, we talk all about divorce and dating and living your best life after the age of 50. And I feel some raindrops. So I'm wondering if I have to turn around and skip yoga. All right, maybe it's just a little passing shower. We'll see, because I really want to do yoga. I feel like I really need it. Oh no, it's really raining. I'm turning around. Okay, so no yoga for me. It is just raining. So I turn around and I still wanted to be outside because the lighting is always better outside than it is inside. So let's talk about my little date. All right, I want to preface the story by saying I walk the same little spot every night with Fiona. So my date and I were just planning to meet down on the waterfront at the pier that I like to go to. And it's traffic time, so you might hear some beeping. But I do have my mic on this time, so hopefully it sounds okay. But yeah, so I've gotten to know some of the regulars that go down to that pier every single night for sunset. And 3 of them are these older gentlemen, I would say mid to late 70s. And they're hilarious and they know Fiona and they always talk to me and Fiona just loves them and they're all actors. So they have all these wonderful hilarious stories. Most of their stories start with, well, back in the day when we were younger, we had to actually go to auditions. And now they do like some voiceover work. And one of them was actually the stand-in for Kramer on Seinfeld. And he looks just like him, same height, same kind of hair. He just looks like an older version of Kramer now. Anyway, so I wanted to start my story with that. So it's Friday night. You guys saw in my last video, I was dressed very casually. I brought Fiona with me. I went down to the pier to meet this guy. And I went in with low expectations because of, my previous dates. So I'm walking down there. I hadn't sat down yet. And he had told me he was going to ride his bike over. So I'm walking to my bench and I see in the distance a guy in like tight bike shorts and no shirt and just pushing his bike along. And I thought, oh no, here we go. Turns out that wasn't my date. So I go to the bench and I sit there and I'm just waiting. I am so sorry if you guys are hearing all that honking. If I showed you down there, which I'm on the 32nd floor, so we are very high up, but it is back-to-back traffic. So back to my story. Okay, so I'm sitting on my bench and I'm just waiting and a guy comes up on a bike and he gets off the bike and comes over to me and says, "Are you my date?" And this guy looked way better than his pictures. I know, shocker, because I don't think people usually look better than their pictures. Looked better than his pictures. So he sits down next to me. Here's where it gets interesting. And there is one kind of big red flag. And maybe you might think that where he sat is a red flag, but so we're on a bench and he sat right next to me, like really, really close. Back to a Seinfeld reference. Do you remember that episode, The Close Talker, Well, he was a close talker. He sat really close to me. And a lot of times if I'm on a bench talking to someone, Fiona will sit on the bench with us in between, but there was no room for Fiona. So I don't think she liked that. But anyway, we started a nice conversation, and I didn't mind him sitting so close because, I mean, he was really, really good looking and so nice. And then maybe 5 minutes into our conversation, I see two of my old guys walking up to me, and I think they were a little bit in protective mode, like Fiona. And they came and said hi. I introduced everybody, and then they sat at a bench right next to us. I think just keeping an eye on me. They're just so nice, and we've become pretty good friends. Well, I have Fiona on a retractable leash, so she is sitting with the old guys getting belly rubs, and I'm talking to the close talker. But so anyway, our conversation was flowing, laughing. I'm not one to just ask someone what they do for a living right off the bat. And he did not have that on his profile. And I totally understand why, and you'll probably understand why once I tell you what he does. So maybe you can guess what he does. So we just talked for a while. He told me he plays the guitar, and we talked about why I moved from Park City, Utah, and just had a really nice conversation. So finally I said, so what do you do for work? And he paused and he said, I'm an emergency room doctor. And I thought, okay, I mean, amazing job. Living in New York, I mean, he must have incredible stories about shootings and stab wounds and people falling into the subway. Anyway, you know, I'm sure he's very, very busy. And we talked about his schooling, and we talked a little bit about what New York was like during COVID. And he's legit, like he is a doctor. And I know the reason he didn't put that on his profile is because there are people out there that want to be with a doctor and marry a doctor and be a doctor and Mrs. or a Mr. and Doctor, and I'm sure that's why he didn't put it on there. And I actually see this as the teeniest bit of a red flag, and the only reason is with the close talking and him being a doctor, I started to get the impression that he might be a player. You know, he could be meeting lots of girls out, women, you know, on different nights. And something gives me the impression that that's what he's doing. And I know, and we're the same age. So that was the other thing that I thought about, was this guy being as good looking as he is and an emergency room doctor. I mean, I'm sure he has women flirting with him at the hospital. He could probably be with someone in their 40s or their 30s, probably even their 20s. But maybe that's not what he wants. Maybe he doesn't want to be with someone who's got small children, or someone who wants kids, or whatever it may be. But we had a really nice time. Conversation was great. But I knew in my head that I was the one who was going to cut the date off before he did. And so I looked at my watch. I think it was about 40 minutes that we had been sitting there. And like I said, conversation was going really well. But then I said, I think it's time for me and Fiona to get home. And he looked at Fiona, who's getting belly rubs, and said, I don't think she wants to go. So we chatted for maybe 5 more minutes, and then I got up and I said, well, I'm going to head home. And he said, okay, well, I'll walk you to your street. And so he walked me to my street, and God, it's something with me and the lights in New York. When I see that hand flashing, and I know I have a short period of time, I keep the conversation pretty brief. So we hugged, we said goodbye, and I said it was nice meeting you, and I boogied across the street with Fiona. So I knew that I was going to need to be the one who reached out a second time, because for all I knew, he might have thought I wasn't interested at the way I abruptly ended the date. And he's probably not used to women doing that. He's probably used to, I don't know, going home with women. Possibly. I don't know. And I don't want to speculate about good-looking ER doctors, but all I could think about was like George Clooney, and I didn't even watch ER, but wasn't he the star of ER? Anyway, I don't know. What do you guys think? So we are going to go out again. So I am excited for that, but we have been texting back and forth. He texts me through the app. He's been texting me at least once a day, usually either in the morning saying, hello, what are you up to today? Or in the evening saying, hey, how was your day? What did you do today? What are you doing tonight? So he's asked me quite a few times, like, what are you doing tonight? And I have not been available on any of the times he has asked me that. And he asked me that just earlier this week. And I said, you know what? I decided to go visit my mom and head to my family's lake house where it's a little bit cooler, because if you've been watching the news, you probably know there's been a crazy heat wave on the East Coast, so not just in New York City, but on the East Coast. And it stopped last night, so tonight, right now, it's actually a little chilly out. But so that was our last conversation via text, and it's been a little flirty. And he said something like, "Oh, are you going solo? If so, can I come with you?" And I know he was just joking. And then I joked back like, pack a bag, I'll be there in 10 minutes. And so just fun, flirty texts. And then I ended the text with, what did I say? I'll see you when I get back. I'll see you on the flip side. And I didn't tell him what day I was heading back because I wasn't sure what day I was heading back. So he thinks that I'm still there. And when I am at the lake house, I unplug completely. So I will reach out to him when I've got some free time, but I'll give it a couple days. Why not? But I wanted to tell you guys about the date, and it was really, really fun. Oh, here's the other thing that was really exciting. I think about like my very first love, and when I saw him and he smiled at me, I got like these butterflies. And I remember with my ex, the first time that we spoke, I got that same feeling. And I just thought that was just something that happened to young people. I assumed that kind of feeling I would never get again. But when this guy smiled at me this close, I got that feeling. Oh, and the other reason I kind of abruptly ended it was because him sitting so close and that smile, like I kind of wanted to make out with him, and this was my way of showing some restraint. I got up and put an end to the date. So fun story. I got butterflies. He was so cute and so nice, but I'm not going to get my hopes up about anything. I'm going to just take it really easy, go out on another date, kind of get a feel for him. I think on a second date, I'll get a better idea on whether or not he's a player. But this could just be also like a fun little fling. Who knows? But of course, I will keep you guys updated. Oh, and I took some video the last time I did yoga at Hudson Yards, which was 2 weeks ago. So let me show you that now, because I know you love to see different parts of New York. So we're going to take a walk along the Hudson, and then I'm going to show you the yoga class, and then we'll take a little walk back during sunset. Okay, you guys, I hope you loved this video today. I love you for joining me, and I can't wait to see you next time. And what else? Yeah, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I can't wait to hear what you guys think. I love you, I love you, I love you, and I will see you next time. Oh, and I'll show you Fiona real quick because you haven't seen her in a little while, and she's just hanging out right inside. I'll see you next time I see you. Bye. There's my girl. Hi, baby cakes. Hi, baby. Sweet pea.